Come on, bro. You ain't got one yet? You ain't got a PS5 yet?
That's not what any of us want to see, and everybody's around him, and just hope that he's going to be okay.
So we'll take another break here in Cincinnati.
Welcome back to Cincinnati, where medical personnel have been working on Bills safety Damar Hamlin for the last 9 minutes. Hamlin made a hit. He got up, took a couple of steps, and then just fell to the ground. We don't know, of course, the extent of his injuries, but the entire Bills team is out on the field right now. Several players are down on their knees. Other players are holding hands, praying. You can just see the worried looks on their faces. As soon as we have more, Joe, we'll pass it on up to you guys in the booth.
CPR.
Tell Robbie I got here. He's gonna shit. Oh my God.
Stefon Diggs there, who is heading to the medical center there at the University of Cincinnati. And Coley Harvey joins us once again. And Coley, you just spoke to Stefon Diggs. What can you share?
Scott, I did have that moment to speak with the receiver, Bills receiver Stefon Diggs, and he essentially expressed how much he needed to be here. You just heard from Adam Schefter saying that so many people around the NFL, around this team, are desperate to know anything about Damar Hamlin's status, and that's exactly what I got from Stefon Diggs. I actually walked with him towards the medical center. I could only go so far. He got to a cop, and the cop initially was not going to let him in, but he said, "This is my teammate. I have to be here for my teammate. This is so frustrating right now. We just want to know what the news is on our guy." And the cop just basically kind of let him go at that point. I actually had to vouch for him and explain exactly who he was. That just goes to show you, again, not just that desperation, but that frustration from the people who are closest to Damar Hamlin, that they don't have the news at this point. But what we can tell you, again, is the statement from the NFL saying that Damar Hamlin is in critical condition here at University of Cincinnati Medical Center. I'm a block away from the entrance to the emergency room. We're still waiting to hear from spokespersons from the hospital. We've been told that they're going to meet with reporters who are staged here at some point this evening. Who knows right now exactly when that will be. Hopefully it will be moments away. We're also seeing fans of both teams, the Bills and the Bengals, showing up. I had a chance to listen to a few Bengals fans who were here earlier saying, hey, this is more than football. This is about humanity and showing the respect that needs to be given to someone who goes down in the fashion that we witnessed tonight. It goes so far beyond football, Scott, and I know that's a sentiment that's been echoed all throughout the show tonight. And yeah, my thoughts are certainly with Damar myself.
Hi, I'm Yaz. I'm a cardiologist. Let's talk about what happened on the field to this young athlete. It's going to be difficult to tell exactly the mechanism of his injury and his cardiac arrest without any further information, but the most likely scenario is that he sustained an injury called commotio cordis. Commotio cordis is a common cause of sudden cardiac death in young athletes when they sustain blunt trauma to the left chest where the heart is, so direct injury to the heart. The mechanism of injury is when the blunt trauma happens at a very specific time frame during the cardiac cycle, which is the repolarization of the ventricle, which is this T wave here. This time point in the cardiac cycle is considered pretty vulnerable, and when blunt trauma happens, rather than the ventricle undergoing repolarization, myocytes, which are cells of the heart, are activated, and instead it undergoes depolarization. So there's activation of the myocytes. When enough depolarization happens, then the ventricle, the lower chamber of the heart, goes into ventricular fibrillation, which is an abnormal, a very fast, and a life-threatening heart rhythm. And because the ventricle is fibrillating, so it's no longer beating appropriately, there's no blood pressure, so there's no pulse, and this is a cause of cardiac arrest. While this is the most likely cause of cardiac arrest after blunt trauma, alternative diagnoses should still be ruled out after stabilization in the hospital.